Welcome back to Light Talk, where the paranormal and the supernatural is a part of our everyday lives. I am so excited to have this guest as usual, but we're going to just get started because you guys all know how I do this. So we're going to hand the mic over and go ahead and introduce yourself and welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dana. Well, I'm Kristine Ovsepian. I don't even know where to start. What do you want to know? I'm a hypnotherapist, although I don't like to, put all the labels after my name and all that stuff because that's not what we're about. But at the same time, just for the listeners to know what my background is, I come from an accounting background. And 17 years ago, the universe blessed me with my mission because I just knew I could not be in accounting for the rest of my life. Because I remember I just stood up one day in my office with my coworkers and I said, if I have to do this for the next 30 years, I'd rather die. And I don't know if I had an out-of-body experience or what it was, but they looked at me and they were like, pale, both of them, and they were both male. And in that moment, I feel like that was the shift moment for me to recognize that I need an exit. I need to get out. I need to do something else. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that same spot. So I'm waiting for my exit too. So it's kind of exciting in a sense because I know the growth is there and I know something is happening. I know it's in the process. So, yeah. And you made it. You got across. So, because you're here.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, I
yeah.
can't even believe 17 years have passed. And I actually even started my spiritual journey, not only my own journey, but the journey of being of service to others. 17 years ago, when people were not so open to paranormal conversations or hypnotherapy conversations or any of that, I would get the most interesting facial expressions when I would tell them what I do. It's like, what do you do? And now every time I tell people what I do, they're like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I'm like, thank you. We've come a long way 17 years later. And now everybody's excited to hear about what I do instead of the, what do you do?
I'm excited to finally get the insurances to cover this stuff now. Now that we've got it out there, it's getting
Yes.
out and about, and I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Uh, it's such a great thing. So, how did you get started? How did all of this come about outside of I'm done?
Yes. How it started. Well, like I said, with the accounting, that about 10 years of my life I spent in accounting, and one job, an opportunity, an experience after another, it just felt like my soul was dying inside of me. And I always knew I loved, since I was a little girl, like when I was 4 years old as a dancer, and the moms would come and ask me, like, what should we cook? And how should we raise our children? And my mom would look at them like, you're crazy. You're talking to a 4 year old. And they were like, she always has great advice. And so that was just my essence of who I was. But because I loved that so much in helping others and supporting others and giving guidance and listening, I never thought I could, it could be a monetized thing or I can monetize it. So the last year of my accounting career, which was 2008, that last year, I begged the partners of the firm to transfer me to HR. And that was, I want to say, the happiest I'd ever been in my career. And everybody was coming to me. Everyone was sharing their, deepest, heaviest stuff with me. And I would always listen and I would always, hold space for them. Even if I didn't have the perfect advice or guidance to them, they would always tell me, oh my goodness, it's like talking to you. It's like, I feel so much lighter suddenly. And it was just, but again, even then, I still did not think of anything other than when people would tell me, oh, you should be a psychologist, you'll be good at it. And my thought of, diagnosing people and all that stuff. I was like, no, 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 that's not my world. I don't want to label anybody. I don't want to judge anybody in that way because we're all unique and different and special and beautiful in our own way. How can I sit there and label them with anything negative? But of course, as I journeyed on, and that when I said in the beginning, when one day I just got up and I said, I'd rather die. During that same time, I was having a lot of psychosomatic experiences because my emotions were really getting my body sick, and my mental health was not in a good place. I was very, very sad. I would just say it that way. And I just really was just turning to the divine and praying and saying, God, save me. God, do some things. There has to be something different other than this. And of course, 2009 came, and after the market crash in 2008, there were a lot of layoffs, and I was one of the lucky ones, I'm going to say now, that got laid off. At the time, it didn't feel so lucky. It was very scary, but it was in a way, it was like if that didn't happen, I don't know if I would have had the courage to leave. But as I left, it felt that was the first time that it felt that I'm never going back to that world ever again. I didn't know where I was going. I had no idea. I was still studying for the CPA exam. I was still trying to force that corporate life and world and career. And I remember even before my layoff, I would get in my car, I would drop off my kids at daycare, get in my car and drive to my work. And on the way, I would just cry in the car and say, God, I want to love what I do. I want to help people. I want to, have financial freedom, and I want to have my time freedom to be in control of my time instead of someone else or something else being in control of my time. And that's all that I was really praying for. There was nothing in there about hypnotherapy. I'm born and raised in a Christian household. So those things were therapy alone was taboo, yet alone hypnotherapy. And I prayed and I prayed. And then one night I went to bed and I had a very vivid dream. I was wearing a white coat, but I knew I was not a doctor, and I wasn't helping people in that way. And I had a golden badge and with my name on it. And I looked to my feet and I looked up and I just went, I remember who I am. And I woke up that morning and I just typed in hypnotherapy. And I had no clue what that was. I was like, hypnotherapy, what is that even? I didn't even know what it was. I knew of stage hypnosis, that people have fun doing interesting things and laughing and all that stuff, but I didn't know that there was therapy connected to hypnosis. And so I searched it up and I found the school that was close to home. And I was surprised that that school had been there, and I had no idea growing up, in the LA area, and had no idea that this school even existed for 40 plus years at that time. I think it's over 50 years now, and the only accredited school. And I didn't even think again that I'm going to be doing this myself. I thought this is God's guidance of me going and getting help with that tool, right? So I hired one of the therapists from there, list of therapists, and I went to her, and by the third session it was like a light bulb that went off, and I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to do. And mind you, fast forward a year later, when I signed up, and from the day I walked into the classroom, it was like, oh my God, I'm home. Because of all the metaphysical conversations, the subconscious, the power of the mind conversations, and just the power that we have within ourselves to make a change. Like, that's all I needed to hear. Because to me, all my life, I was always thinking there has to be something bigger, greater, better than what I'm being told, right? That I'm out of control, that there's, outside forces that control me and my life and my decisions and all that stuff. And I was like, why doesn't that feel good to me? Why doesn't that feel okay to me? And I just internally was always fighting that. And I went through my own big, big, big transition in connection to the divine alone. Like, I still use the word, God. I still use the word Christ consciousness, but consciousness, right? As love, not the, oh my God, he's going to get mad, he's going to punish you, you're going to go to hell kind of thing. And I was like, if I need to create my own God, then I'm going to have to do that. And only to realize that's not what God represented in the first place. Like,
No,
but
no.
so. That's been my journey, and it's been now almost 17 years, and I'm grateful for every part of it. I'm grateful for the difficult times and the beautiful times and the blessings that have come with it, and just the fact that, and mind you, a year later when I was graduating, I got that golden badge. Like it was
Nice.
my school's golden badge with our name on it, with the certified hypnotherapist title on it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
awesome.
know. I was like, oh my God, that's the proof of when we sometimes leap and jump ahead and we see into the future. Yeah.
That is so awesome.
So that's been my
Awesome.
journey.
That's a great journey. I mean, to go, how long was your classes? I mean, how, I'm just kind of curious on my own,
Yeah.
because just today, I think it was just today, I started thinking, you know what? I need to go to some schooling.
Mm.
I
So
need to
it's a year
actually get some
program.
school.
Yeah. So when we were there, obviously 17 years ago, things were different than now. Our classes were in person, but nowadays I think they actually have online courses that you can do. It's a year program. To me, at that time, because I'm such a visual person and I love the connection to the physical, although many of my sessions now with my clients who are global, I have clients in Dubai, I have clients in New York, I have clients in Vienna. So it, like, Zoom is still very much a powerful experience and the healing still happens, but
Mhm.
I was in person with every class. We were in person. And at the same time, I did my master's in psychology as well because I wanted to, of course, connect the two worlds as well. And I also didn't want anybody to, just turn and say, oh, but you're just a certified hypnotherapist. So having that master's in psychology is a different level of connection and understanding of the science of it and how the mind works and all that stuff. So I can combine to both worlds. My world is just, hypnotherapy and metaphysical and the connection to the higher consciousness and all that good stuff and remembering who we are, because most of all, it's we knew who we were when we were born, and then we were, made to forget with the systems
Yes.
around, for whether it's schooling or religion or whatever else it is, and we're forced to forget. But then many of us, especially as our consciousness is shifting more and more and more people are waking up, more people are just realizing that there's something that, it's like out of reach, but at the same time we are so driven to reach. That's my
Yes.
journey with most of my clients. It's kind of like, I want to be the best version of myself, and I'm like, your best version of yourself is your higher self. It's your alignment, realignment with your higher self.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, I know where I need to possibly go.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, I'm just waiting, not for it to happen, but I'm like also waiting
Hmm.
for the direction. Does
Right.
that make sense?
Yes. But
So
I'll tell
yeah,
you this, from my own journey, I'm glad you're saying that. Don't wait for the direction. Just go with the flow, meaning what feels right, what is flowing, go with it. Because if we're waiting, in many of my spiritual, deep psychedelic experiences, I would sometimes sit and be like, come on, tell me. And the answers would not come because the answers are within. You're meant to go inside and not look for outside answers. So always just trust
yeah,
your inner instinct, inner guide, inner higher self messaging. You know what feels right and you know what doesn't. Just follow. This is we're more and more and more over the years being called to go deeper within. And that is only, not only, but that is always the work that I do with my clients, to go within, because nothing is outside of us. Everything is within. All the answers are within, all the mission is within, everything. And so go within and trust the flow, but don't sit and wait, because that was the thing with the secret. It's like we can't just sit and wait and just wish, right? Action, action,
right.
action. You
Action.
don't need to
Yeah,
have the the right action, just any action, whether you're talking about it and that's your action, or you're, I don't know, doing something about it, that's your action, whether you're doing research and that's your action. The universe needs to see that we're serious about the movement forward. Otherwise, it's just a idea, wish, a dream. But any
Bubble.
action towards that is what manifested into reality. Yeah, it's kind of like our consent, because we have free will and the universe will never interfere and force or drop anything unless we surrender, unless we ask, unless we take action. Because that asking too is surrender, right? And that asking too is like the I'm ready to move forward. But yeah, to just sit and wait, no, we always need to be in action mode, like some type of action.
Yeah, I probably said that the wrong way, but yeah,
Yeah.
I have these directions in mind. I'm always thinking about them. I'm doing watching a lot of videos on them, and
Mhm.
also it's kind of trying to move that way, getting myself into one of those directions. Like I say before we started, it's like I have several different directions I'm going, but
Mhm. Mhm.
trying to narrow in on which ones to go towards next outside the
Mhm.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so what kinds of experiences have you had when you've been working with the hypnotherapist? Hypnotherapist. Yes. It's one of those words, you know. But
Yes.
what kinds of experiences have you had with that? I mean, you don't have to say names or anything, but what while doing this kind of work, what types of things do you come about that helps these
Mhm.
people?
Absolutely. And I love that question because there's so much misinformation and misunderstanding of what hypnosis or hypnotherapy is. Uh, because everything begins and ends in our subconscious mind, which is the hard drive of our brain, which runs the show. On a conscious level, we can try to make as many changes as we like, but on a conscious level, while repetition has to be 100 times, on a subconscious level, it can be 2 or 3 times. That's how fast our mind works, but we have to tap into the subconscious. And because the subconscious also holds all the positive, all the negative information from our childhood to the present, majority of the time, our trouble with whether it's life experiences or career or money or relationships or whatever it may be, anything that bothers us, it comes from our past experiences. It comes from our childhood experiences. It comes from the way we were raised. So then it becomes, if that is brewing still in there and it hasn't been worked through, then it becomes an emotion. And that emotion is the symptom of that problem. And then that emotion, if we don't work through it and work with it, becomes physical. And that's just how it goes, which is why we also say the body keeps score. Because yes, every trauma, any trauma, especially big traumas, whether it's, I don't know, a car accident or abuse or whatever, the body keeps score as well, which is why I always tell my clients we need to do mind, body, soul work, not just mind or not just body or not just soul, because they all need to merge and realign, because while the subconscious is saying one thing, the body may be saying another thing, or the subconscious may heal and the body is still keeping score of that information. So now we need to heal the body as well, so that the mind and the body can merge and be one with the soul, and instead of being scattered. So what the question was, what do I work with based on that information? Anything and everything that begins and ends in the mind: fear, doubts, worries, fears. I mean, I said fear again. That's how much fear I work with clients. There's so much
Oh,
fear
I'm
in
sure.
everybody. I think that's why I've been repeated it: depression, anxiety, panic attacks. Um, I guide my clients with a lot of people have, not so great relationship with money or self-worth, self-esteem, self-love, which means there's always kind of a glass ceiling. They go so high in their career, and eventually it's like a plateaus and they can't go anywhere anymore. And because they feel I'm only worthy of this much, right? And then getting those stories out of the way, getting those beliefs out of the way, and so they can soar. Like even this morning, one of my clients, when I started working with her, she was getting paid very little, about 60,000 a year. In LA, 60,000 is not nearly enough to be able to even function. But when we started working together, I told her, I said, the sky is the limit. How far do you want to go? And within 3 months, she got a promotion with her own company. And while she was trying to leave the company, she got a promotion from the company and her pay doubled.
Nice.
She got a double pay within 3 months of us working together because her mind shifted, her belief system shifted, her self-worth shifted. And then while she was trying to leave again, they gave her a big raise. It's like,
Wow.
literally been growth after growth after growth. And yeah, and now we're working on her achieving her goal of being her own boss, running her own business because she has the skills, she has the gift. And now we're on that journey together. So even the work that I do with my clients, I always tell them, where are you? Where do you want to be? So that I can guide you, so that I can support you. While some people that just want to shed and they're okay for a moment. Some of my clients want to shed and they want to create and manifest. And it just depends on the person's, comfort level of where they're at and what they want to do, what they're ready to do, what they're ready to take action on. I'm also the coach that helps them to take action, gives them the tools, gives them the information, gives them the exercises, gives them the, guidance and the support and the, keeping them, on track so that they do see success. Because a lot of my clients, when they start with me, they would ask me the question of, well, how would I know? I say, when everything starts to change in a positive way, when relationships start to get better, when you have more money, when you are happier doing what you're doing, when I don't know, if you love to travel or traveling more, and the first place that it begins, I want to just say, is the inner peace that comes with the healing, the lightness of energy and inner peace. That's the first place I even want to start. So many of my clients, even after the first session, it shows right away. You can feel it right away. They come out of the first hypnosis session and they immediately go, oh my God, I feel so much lighter, so much more clear in my mind. Because what we're doing is energetically clearing the mental energy and the physical energy, and that all the energy levels are being kind of cleansed and purged, like stuck energy being released. Because all our emotions are just energy. The past is not happening anymore, but the energy is still lingering in our energy field. So the first place I begin with my clients is cleaning the energy, because you can't add sugar on top of trash. Let's just say.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
the way I've been hearing it is you got to get rid of the trash before you can fill it with
absolutely. Thank you.
the
Exactly. Which is why,
sweets.
yes, which is why so many people get frustrated. But I've been doing affirmations, but I've been doing this all these years. I'm like, but have you cleaned house? If your house is filthy and you bring new furniture,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
if your closet is full and you bring new clothes,
Where
what
do
are
you
you doing?
put it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I'm kind of going to go back into my situation. So again, I have like three different areas I'm working on and going. So how do you know? How would you tell your clients? I know it's hypnotherapy, so they're kind of telling you, but at the same time, how do you guide them into which direction to be going? Or is that just following the flow, just riding the river?
Following the flow, going through the pros and cons. It's interesting you say that. With that client of mine today, I was like, okay, what are the pros and cons of being an employee, and what are the pros and cons of being your own boss? And we were going through that. It's just bringing clarity around which path. Again, when I started this journey, I didn't have any path, because also, again, 17 years ago, I didn't have anybody to turn to as a mentor, because this world, and I went from accounting to this and starting this from nothing, scratch, no one there to support me, no one there to guide me. I just honestly, through trial and error, just making decisions, continuing to, oh, let me try this, let me try that, let me try this, let me try that. Because at the end of the day, there is no way to make the best, the right decision. But we must make decisions, because once you make a decision and make a move, you'll see, is the energy flowing? If I made that phone call and opportunities started showing up, that is where the universe is guiding me. Then I should go that way. And if you keep doing one thing and or multiple things towards one, let's say, project, and nothing is moving, nothing is happening, then you know it's either not the time or not the right decision. So we pivot, right? We're constantly just kind of moving and being flexible. That's the biggest place that I would just say I will always guide my clients to. There's unlimited possibilities, and you got to be flexible and open. Because the universe, while we in our conscious ego brain think, oh, there's only this many possibilities, your higher self is looking at it going, oh no, there's a million possibilities. So just being open spiritually, being open in kind of being guided as well by the higher self. So my one of my most favorite, honestly, the moment I realize or I find myself more in my logical brain and more in my human brain or ego brain, I just simply start affirming, I am surrendering to my higher self, because it's so much easier and so much. And I know the listeners might listen and be like, well, it's easy for you to say, but it's one step at a time. 17 years ago, I started the same way. I'm just surrendering. I'm just surrendering to my higher self. And surrender does not mean giving up. Surrender actually means I'm not trying to control. That's all. I'm just trying not to control, because the more we try to control, the more human we become and the more struggle we create for ourselves. So why? Any area of my life, from my relationships to everything, I'm just choosing the flow. Just like Bruce Lee said, be like water.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems so easy and it seems so hard, but yet it seems so easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Well,
like
the hard is the ego. I always tell my clients, anytime they say, oh, it's too hard. Well, if we keep saying it's hard, it's going to be hard.
gonna be
But if you start taking one step, if you go hiking and you look at the hill, you're like, oh, that's hard. But then once you start taking one step at a time, next thing you know, you're on top of the mountain,
top of it.
right? So I don't, and I was raised with everything is hard, everything is impossible, but I trained my brain that nothing is hard and everything is possible. While nothing is possible, I turned it into everything is possible. While nothing will work out, I turned it into everything will work out. Because the universe is our ally. Why are we fighting it? Right? All we need
Right.
to do, the hardest part is us surrendering and really allowing the universal laws to guide our way. But what are we doing as humans? We're just fighting against it, fighting against nature constantly. That's what's hard. As we always say, what is it? Like 80 muscles of around the mouth to frown, and then two or three or however very little number of muscles to smile. Well, so which one is harder? It's harder for us to be negative than positive, because we are divinely conscious. Our consciousness is light consciousness, not only light in like feather weight light, but light. So what is hard? Going against our nature is hard. But why are we doing it? Right?
Right. 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 Yeah. Okay, I've got some new phrases to keep saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just let your just invite your higher consciousness to guide the way. Really. You're gonna have so much more fun. I know you're gonna email me and say, "Oh my God, life is so much more fun." It's been when we become too human, too adult-like, too serious about life. Life is not meant to be taken so seriously. We're here on a journey. Just enjoy the journey. And I say this because I had a very difficult past. And if I could sit here and say that, trust me, from
All
my
right.
childhood to my adult life, my first part of my life was very challenging, but I really one day at a time. I just chose to be flexible. I chose to trust. I chose to keep the faith. I chose positivity. I chose gratitude. I chose blessings, even when things were difficult. I was like, thank you, universe, for this blessing. It doesn't feel good right now, but I know there's a hidden blessing in it. That's how I looked at the difficult things. And then, of course, the good things. I was like, I'm so very grateful for this blessing.
Right.
But just holding
Right.
gratitude even for the tough times. And I know many of us, there's not a human being, there's not a person that I've met from my child clients to adult clients that we haven't had some scary things happen to us
Hmm.
throughout life. But it's that trust, it's that inner voice that always, if we even give ourselves permission to drop from our heads into our hearts, that alone will change it completely. Because, hard math for 30 plus years has been showing and proving to us that the heart has separate intelligence from the brain, and the heart communicates with the brain a lot more than the brain communicates with the heart. And our heart is always guiding us with love, to love, through love. I always say it's the physical manifestation of the soul because it's right here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've got more stuff to practice, more stuff to work on. I
Mhm.
know I do. And you just brought it back up to light. So here we go again. One more step
Yes, one more step.
forward.
Absolutely.
One more
Absolutely.
step forward. Awesome. Yeah. Wow. So
Mhm.
you've been doing this work for 15 years, you say?
So
About
almost
that?
17.
Almost
Hmm.
17. Wow. And you do this online and in person?
Hmm. Yes.
Okay. All right. Whoa. Do you have any more to tell us? Anything fun stuff? I mean,
Um,
that's just a lot of like just personal stuff when you're working with hypnosis. So it's kind of hard to talk about this stuff because it's, privacy.
hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sitting here just kind of thinking, okay, I feel like I've been doing my mantras. I feel like I've been working on doing all of this forgiving and, you
Hmm.
know, I feel myself raising. I feel like I'm moving forward here. And do you find that people get like they stall and then they move forward and stall and move forward,
Absolutely.
kind of
There's
like that?
moments like that too. Absolutely. Which is why I have the tools. Once resistance hits and kicks in, I have the tools to give to my clients to help them to overcome that resistance because the stalling is just I'm being resistant to change.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So the most important thing is am I going to allow that stuckness to stay there or am I going to shift the energy? That's the most
Gotcha.
important thing.
There you go. Because I feel like I'm kind of going into a stall, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I feel like it's been really hard. Um, are you still there? So yeah, so you've been working with all these people, and we're ready to move forward once you break that trust, or you not breaking the trust, but moving forward with trust, and that helps people kind of keep moving. And yeah, that's awesome.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
awesome. I
trust in the
love that.
self. It's mostly gaining even trust in the self. And sometimes my guidance even comes to my clients of trust me first, that I know where you can be. Because sometimes my clients don't even trust themselves. And how do we move forward? How do we gain that momentum? How do we feel inspired, empowered if we can't even trust ourselves? And that's one of the saddest things that has happened to us as human beings, because we're born so knowing, so trusting. Every child, the confidence that every child has. And then by the time we're adults, it's like there's almost no confidence left. There's no self-trust left because we've been told so many times, no, you can't do that. No, you can't say this. No, 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 no. And as a soul, you just go, okay, well, if I'm doing everything wrong, then I don't know what I'm doing right. So I just can't trust myself. I just need to look for others to tell me what to do and how to do it. And so gaining that self-trust is one of the big places that I work with my clients. And it's and I could sit here and tell you all the areas that we work with, but everything is just kind of linked together, and it just becomes that chain reaction of, it is self-trust, it is self-love, it is self-worth, it is self-acceptance. It's just like this beautiful layers and layers and layers, and they all go together. So to even say, like, oftentimes I get asked, like, what do you work with? I'm like, everything and anything that begins between these two ears. That's what I work with. Because all of our programming is what's running the show, which is why affirmations are great. You can repeat all the affirmations, but if your inner programming is, let's just say for an example, I don't feel good enough. I'm not worthy. Are we going to achieve that great success? Are we going to achieve that freedom? Are we going to achieve? And I started from rock bottom. That's why I speak with all my heart, because I've been there. Zero self-esteem, zero self-love, zero self-confidence. And I built from there, which is why I always tell my clients, from every decision I've ever made in my life, personal decisions, business decisions, it literally came from a place of, can I do this? Am I ready to do this? Am I comfortable to do this? Am I ready for this? But my dreams were so big and still are so big that, as I often say, if our dreams don't scare us, they're not big enough. But now, as my dreams got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger over the years, I realize it's because my self-esteem, my self-worth, my self-love gained more momentum and just like moved forward and got bigger and better. And it has nothing to do, because so many of my clients would ask me the question of, well, am I going to become arrogant and mean? No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about just pure love. If we love ourselves, when the monks say, when every individual realizes in loving yourself, you will never mistreat another, I wholeheartedly believe in that. Because majority of, as last year being the snake year, I was always telling my clients, this is the inner revolution, like from inside. Every person was going through their own transformation from inside. And there's a fight that goes on, there's love that goes on there, but majority of the people, unfortunately, there's a war going on inside of themselves. And when there's war inside of ourselves, can we love people outside of ourselves? No, we can't. It's not possible. There has
Yeah.
to be love inside for the love to, because our
Go
world is
well.
also our mirror. So if we have war feeling inside, or the opposite of love feeling inside, I don't even like saying those heavy words, then what are we projecting into the world, and what are we going to get mirroring back to us, right? If I'm a feminine energy, look in the mirror, and am I expecting to see a man standing in front of me? No.
No.
Like, what am I projecting into the world is what I'm going to get back. It's
Yeah.
simple. It's so, every single one of us just simply looking within and just going, which areas of my life are good, which areas need healing, which are areas I'm satisfied with, which areas I'm not satisfied with. And if I'm not satisfied, then what is my greater dream goal? And I always tell my clients, stop thinking that you're going to have every step. You know what's most important? What is your goal? What is the dream? What is the bigger picture? Because once you have clarity of the bigger picture, the universe will create the steps there.
Draw it out. Make the picture. I'm talking to
Mm-hmm.
myself. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. So just kind of, what is that? Yeah, drawing your dream.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the
Yeah.
phrase of that, but it's something like that. It's your like manifesting through art or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also,
Yeah.
how do we learn? The other layer of that is I always tell my clients go into school when sometimes, not sometimes, all the time in a classroom, when one teacher goes, oh, these, my smart students versus not so smart students. It's not because these kids are not smart. It's because every individual has their own dominant sense of learning. When I was in school, when I was young, I'm very visual, which is what makes my world in this world so powerful because I close my eyes and I can take a person on a whole journey. And my clients go, how do you do that? Because I connect with their energy and I know what journey will help them, what affirmations, what suggestions are going to help them change their life. So if my teacher wrote the information on the board, oh, photographic memory, it's right there. But then if they lectured, I was like, you lost me. So this is also, even in spirituality, the same applies. Am I a visual person? So for me, I'm very visual. So what works beautifully for me? Vision boards. And I'm
Vision
still
boards.
very
That's
old
what I was
school.
thinking.
Vision boards, yes. I'm
Yeah.
literally looking at mine. I have one in my workspace, one in my bedroom. I go to sleep to it, I wake up to it, and I just look at it. And nothing that is on there feels, oh, this is too far, too unreachable. No, everything that is on there is because I feel connected to it, whether it's love life or finances or travel or family, children, exercise, healthy eating, all of that is there because I'm already comfortable with that information. So I'm very visual. Some people are auditory. Okay, then listen to it. Maybe record yourself talking about your dreams and listen to it, or talk about it and hear yourself talking about it and get excited over it. So we need to really, because this journey is really remembering who we are, meaning getting to know ourselves again, because we forgot who we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people feel that, whether they understand it or not. I think they really feel that.
Which is why so many people are, one day they wake up and they snap and they go, screw the corporate world. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do the 9 to 5 anymore. So many of my clients
Yeah.
have done that. Yeah. Because every single one of us have come here with our own unique divine mission. Like, I don't ever question who I am anymore. I know who I am. I know why I'm here. I know what I'm here to do. While everybody's ultimate mission is to love and be loved, but within that is the things that we do. How am I being of service to others? How am I being of service to myself? Not
Right.
forgetting the being of service to the self, because so many of us can get caught up with overgiving to others and then becoming resentful. See, there's so many
So much.
layers, but it's not to
Yeah.
discourage us. It's to, in fact, get us excited because it is a chain reaction. Like I said, well, you start somewhere and the dominoes start falling into place. They're not falling, they're falling into place. That's why it's like you just start with one area. Is it love life? Is it career? Is it finances? Is it relationships? Is it friendships? Is it family? Where is it? Start somewhere. You start in one area and everything starts to shift. Just one area.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going through the plan as you speak.
I love it. I love it. It's not only an interview, it's also a healing session for you.
Yes, I'm always trying to think and better myself. And,
Mhm.
sometimes I get a little stuck,
Mm.
so it's like, okay, we need to find out. And I think right now, you're kind of touching some spots that oh yeah, I do need to look at that again, or I need to re-look at that area, or
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good to rehear things. Yeah.
Reinforcement. That's how we
Reinforcement.
learn.
Yeah.
Repetition, repetition, repetition. Yep.
And baby steps, and
Yes.
I'm taking those baby steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome. So how much time in a day do you feel a person needs to work with these ideas and work with these affirmations and these kinds of steps to get them forward? How much time in a day does that take for
Yeah.
you? That typical.
Well, if we're going to put time on it, we're already in our ego because time is created by humanity, right? Humans. The time and space, like the universe does not care for time. There's no time. So I don't look at it as time. I just look at it as commitment to the self. Like for me, in the mornings is my journey of when I wake up, when I open my eyes and my logical brain, comes in, my affirmations begin. I only allow love into my energy field because I know the ego loves to go and dig in the dirt and find the tiniest problem to just boohoo on, right? And I don't
Right.
allow for that. I just say to myself, I'm only allowing love into my energy field, which means my mind, my body, my energy, my nervous system, all of it. And immediately my ego knows she can't be she can't do that. She can't come in with, oh my God, remember 10 years ago your friend said this to you? She can't do that because it's not love. So time, I don't look at it as time. Even exercises and tools that I give my clients, I tell them it should not take more than minutes for you. But throughout the day, yeah, you're going to go in and out of that. If you're driving and you're feeling your ego is just taken over, you immediately come back to, I'm only allowing love into my energy field. Shift it. Because we can go from that. Everybody, speaks of heaven and hell, but heaven and hell is right here in our minds. We could go into hell and be scared and go down the rabbit hole, or instantly we can shift the energy and go into heaven and immediately feel bliss. It's just how often am I there and how often am I here? It's a choice, right? That's why my first book, The Universe, had me titled it Living Through Choice, because realizing that we have a choice, our destiny is in our hands. We are choosing to be happy. We are choosing. Everything is a choice. Or we're choosing to be miserable.
Yeah. 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 I can see that. I can see that. Um, I was in a spot not too long ago that I was there. I was in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, I feel like I'm slowly kind of backing up. So it's like I need to reset my mind, reset it back to the love, which I've been trying to, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, something just seems to be like blocking it. So
Yeah,
I need
you're
to
working
find
through
that blockage.
something. Yeah. No,
Hmm.
don't go seeking for the blockage. Just simply, honestly, move through it with grace, love that blockage to release
Okay.
it. Because if you're going to go seeking, trying to understand, that's what the ego does. And you're going to
That's
go
the
down the
ego.
rabbit hole. Yeah. So don't try to
Okay.
understand it. Don't try to find the blockage. The blockage is simply there because, oh, I'm scared to move forward. Why am I
Okay.
scared to move forward? Let me love that fear, right?
Right. Love
Love
fear.
it to heal it. Exactly. With
Love the
love, we
fear.
can conquer anything.
Love the
Love the
fear.
fear, love the doubt, because then you immediately kind of, I'll just say, weaken it, weaken that energy. Instead of, if you're looking at something as a block and you're looking at it, you're going, oh my God, it's a block, it's a block, it's a block. Next thing you know, you put another block and now it's a wall.
Makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it's all in your hands. You're creating your own reality. So what reality
All
do you
right.
choose to create? Yeah,
Love.
exactly.
Love. Okay. That's
So
awesome.
be in your heart more, right? Just live intentionally. Every day, just live intentionally. I'm intending to be in my heart. I'm intending for only love to feel in my energy field. I'm intending for that because our intention is law in the universe. No other vibration can interfere in it. If you do intentional, sometimes clients come to me that have a lot of heavy stuff that they carry energetically, mentally, emotionally. I don't get scared. I just choose to be the light in their tunnel. And
Yeah.
I just hold their hand and I help them and I support them. And yeah, because if we let fear take over,
Yeah. Yeah. I haven't really realized that's what was happening. So thank you. I mean,
of course.
that's that's just another lesson that I needed to hear again. Or yeah, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, just be active in your own journey. Don't wait for someone else, something else to show you the way. You create the way. You pave your own path. You say, I'm paving it with love and I'm going to move through it with love. And just watch what happens. Everything starts to shift. Next thing you know, some little or big miracles start to happen in your life.
Yeah. All right. All right. Because I've already been through a big shift. So I can do
Yes.
this. I've got
And also
this.
remember last year was the snake year. And
Mhm.
up until last Tuesday, the 17th, it was still the snake year. But now we're in the horse year. So the snake year, I was telling my clients, just we're not meant to create anything big this year. We're just meant to shed and shed and shed and shed lifetimes of stuff, shed. But this is now the horse year. We've shed enough. Now it's time to move forward. Now get on the horse and keep moving. Yes, exactly. Because if we
Get
keep
on and
saying, and
ride.
I'm born a snake year, so I know what last year was a beautiful journey for me. And I'm not saying it lightly. Like I went through a lot of shedding from
And
relationships to everything, everything. But it's in preparation of this year now on the horse charging forward.
I feel like I've done the same thing. I've done a lot of
Yes.
shedding last year and I've
Yeah.
done a lot of growth last year. And I feel the future, near future, there's going to be a lot of growth coming on. I
Yeah.
feel it. I know it, you know,
Mhm.
and so we'll see.
So no
We're
more
going to,
blocks. Don't believe
no,
in blocks. You
no,
believe it, you'll create it.
but no, I'm not, I'm on the flow. I'm on the flow.
Beautiful.
And I'm on the flow and I've got changes coming up. I've got a lot of growth coming up. I've got a new life coming up, really. That's how I've been
Mm-hmm.
feeling. I feel a lot of changes coming on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, do you have any last words for the people or anything you'd like to say to the guests?
I think I've said a lot already. I
Yes, you
would just,
have.
I always finish it with just choose your freedom, whether it's inner or outer or whatever that looks like. It always starts from within. We choose our inner freedom, then our life begins to change. We need to first feel free inside.
Yes. Yes. I see that. I feel that. Thank you so much for, reiterating a lot of these steps that people may be going through right now. Me. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of
And I
course.
hope everybody out there has learned from it, like me, and moving forward. So awesome. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being with us. And um, you're welcome back to. enjoy some more education stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome. You really opened up my mind once again and helped me to refocus, to get into this and realize what I'm doing.
Thank you.
That's
I'm grateful.
awesome.
One person
Yeah.
at a time.
One person, one emotion at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dana. Thanks for having
Yeah,
me.
absolutely. Absolutely. If anyone else out there has any stories you would like to share, email me, lighttalk423@gmail.com. And we'll talk to everybody next time. Bye.
Bye.